Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Throws Custom T-shirts and accessories, sponsored by the Ice Shaker and also sponsored by Make It Mac. Go buy your custom Timeout Talks apparel via www.chaseandthrows.com. And you guys can purchase your Ice Shakers at www.iceshaker.com. Follow Make It Mac on Instagram and Facebook. We've got a Super Bowl special for you guys tonight. We're talking all things NFL. We're going to get into all the sports bets. We're going to get into MVPs to anytime touchdowns. Mine and Ben, we were talking about this right before the show started. We'll get into some bets to maybe stay away from. And of course, we're going to break down the game, things that the San Francisco 49ers need to do, things that the Chiefs need to do to win this game. We're going to get to your comments as well. And of course, later on in the show, we're finally going to give you our Super Bowl predictions. So stay tuned for those. Those will be exciting. And this is going to be exciting Super Bowl, Ben. I mean, it's a rematch of, 3 or 4 years ago. Mahomes is or 5. We might even be getting on 5 years. Mahomes' first Super Bowl win was against this San Francisco team. Kyle Shanahan wants his revenge. Talk about just blowing game. I mean, there's so much to wrap into this, but this is 6:30. Chiefs, the 11-6 Chiefs, the 12-5 San Francisco 49ers. The money line went down since literally I actually made this graphic 3 or 4 days ago. It's now -1.5. Ben, betting guy. Let's hop right into this. I mean, how is this? Actually, first let's start with this. Is this the Super Bowl matchup you wanted?
Josh, like I said last week too, this is the two best teams. I think this is the two best teams. I was really hoping for the Lions. I don't know. I'm a feel-good story guy. Dan Cable. I mean, I felt like the Lions just journeyed. They earned this. They had that Niners game. Obviously, they blew in. We'll get to Jeff's comments too. -10.5 for both teams. That's an interesting bet. So everyone, throw your bets out there. I know Josh was talking about bets we probably won't take. I'm probably not going to touch that -10.5. I think it's going to be a little closer of a game, but that's what the Super Bowl is meant for, Josh. Have a little fun with some of these bets. Bet responsibly, but have a little fun with some of them. Try and make some money. And I don't know, MVP party. I got a pretty strong Super Bowl MVP. I'm going to save it, Josh. It's a little teaser. I'm very strong on this guy. I think it could be a big splash. He's good value. So, but to be honest, I was really hoping for the Lions. Ravens, who cares? Steelers fan. I didn't really want to see them. But Lions never been to the Super Bowl. Just crossing checking the box off of everything. So far, first playoff win in 30 years, first divisional, first conference championship since, the 50s or something like that. So, I mean, they were checking off every box. I wanted to see them keep going. I think that team deserved it. Obviously Niners did too, but I think it was a little bummed about that one, Josh. But I think great matchup. I know you were teetering on who you're going to pick, but I think I'm locked up. And she talking about no one wanted this matchup either, so I appreciate that. I'll get to that other question. Let me think about that other one too.
I mean, out of all the teams in the playoffs, we all know who we wanted. Me and Ben would have loved a good old school Steelers Cowboys, but of course, both of our teams bowed out first round of the playoffs. But all jokes aside, I mean, I think, as Ben mentioned, this is the matchup that a lot of people are going to be excited for. I love the story of the Lions. First 5 years, under 5 years, 3 years, Dan Campbell's been there. He's been able to kind of cultivate and flip that franchise completely around. Much respect to them. But I think they'll have their time. I think they'll have more chances. This is the San Francisco 49ers time, Ben. We thought they went all in, 5 years ago against Mahomes. Now they get their rematch. They get their second chance. I think that this is the game that we want to see. Maybe I'm not the NFL hype beast, but I've kind of come around here. I'd rather see the Chiefs in the Niners than the Ravens in the Niners. We already saw that. We didn't see that one this year. I think that this matchup can go either way. It's super, super close for me. I'll say that. And as Ben mentioned, I do have my pick. I finally made my pick. But last
He made
weekend,
it.
it's been teetering a lot. I think that this game is as close as that spread shows. Literally less than a 2-point game. It's going to be very, very close. Even Vegas knows it. It's in Vegas. They got to hit on this somehow. But as you and Charlie mentioned, it's a matchup that not most people wanted to see, but we're going to see it. It's going to live up to the hype. I mean, that last matchup, I was literally just looking at highlights that Chiefs were down 10 points with less than 8 minutes to go, and they still found a way to win. I know that's nothing like the Patriots comeback, but still, it's still just wild to think. Wild, wild Super Bowl. This one, I think, will have flashes of a classic as well. I think it's going to be very, very close. Again, we will get to that a little bit later. We're going to get to some of your comments. We've got, has Ben got to both Chiefs and Niners minus 10.5 just for funsies? Never know. I mean, James actually thinks one team is going to cover that spread. And that team, I'm just going to come on and say it. James thinks the Niners are going to win 20 or 31. Well, he either said 21-10 or he said 31-20. I think he said 31-20. So the Niners would cover that 10.5 little spread there. That
Jeff would be happy.
Jeff would be happy
right
so
there.
would James. We've got Dylan, MV Purdy. We'll get into those odds a little bit later, how we feel about that. And this is kind of the question I wanted to get to before we get to Dylan's Super Bowl odds there, and we get to some of our odds and the big time bets. Charlie O'Donnell, this is the question everybody wanted to hear. Top tier food / app at a Super Bowl party. I'm going to go quick. You got to have wings. I'm a big wings guy. You have to have
That's an easy one.
Wings. It's an easy one. It's a gimme. Wings and a nice soda. I got my soda right here. You guys already know.
Got the Pepsi.
Pepsi stand.
Got the Pepsi.
Hey, I've been getting a lot of Coke at my household, so I had to switch it up a little bit. But wings, top tier for me. It's an easy one. It's a layup, Ben. I guess I'll go easy. I'll go cheesy. Let's go with the wings. That rhymed. I did not mean for that to rhyme.
I mean, Dylan had a stealer right there. I mean, that's I guess that's an easy one too. That was going to be my answer. You got to have the buff chick dip. I mean, that's obviously another easy one. I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box. I mean, I know Chi likes a little kielbasa. Sometimes she brings a little kielbasa. That's a little sleeper. And another sleeper right there, pigs in a blanket. Some of those type of apps from Dylan right there. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Mini quesadillas. I got no. You got to just get the basics. Get some nice chips, get some wings, buff chick dip, and you'll be good. Pizza, obviously. Throw some pizza in there. Probably no calzones. I'm probably just gonna stick with the pizza. No calzones. I'll go pepperoni. Just throw that one in there too, Josh.
Gotta get I always butcher this name, but the charcuterie. The cheese, charcuterie.
Sure,
those are. I'm butchering it. That's why Ben's here. He's gonna help me out. I like that spread. That type of plate, I feel like always hits different. Like you mentioned, throw a little pigs in a blanket there. Then a little bit later, you add up to the wings. You got the buffalo chicken dip. I 100% agree with that, Dylan. I don't know how that was gonna pass my mind.
It's not really. But I don't know if it's really a sleeper.
Left for a minute by accident when we were talking, and we're talking pizza. So yeah, Aaron, best. We're talking best Super Bowl, top tier food.
Yeah.
Charlie did say food, so my mind was going appetizer, but Charlie said top tier food / app at a Super Bowl party. Ben hit it on the nail there with pizza. I feel like you can't go wrong. And yeah, Jeff, would a Taylor Swift themed Super Bowl party ruin your day? I mean, I'm not looking for that. I seen a video that was just wild. I mean, these girls were going crazy. They had the 87 holder for cupcakes. They had a Travis Kelce jersey. They even put they were writing things on the cupcakes for Taylor Swift's lyrics. I mean, this is the Super Bowl.
You're gonna see a lot of that.
Oh, for sure, Ben. And I will say one thing: the Super Bowl is a very social event. I feel like not a lot of diehard football fans watch. They do, of course, but it's not just for the diehard football fans. It's a very social, thing. People can just casually watch. Just kind of an excuse to kind of socialize. That's kind of how I view it. But now you throw Taylor Swift, you throw all that entertainment into it. It's gonna times 10 it. I mean, I would not be surprised if it gets amazing ratings. I mean, obviously it's going to get amazing ratings, but I would like to see the difference in the ratings now this year that they're going to be showing Taylor Swift a lot on the TV. Plus, that Usher halftime Super Bowl performance is going to be great. I don't know why people were hating on that when he got announced. Out of their minds to believe that.
Shout out Usher. Come
and Charlie, spinach artichoke dip is my sleeper.
Josh doesn't like it. Josh,
I'm not liking that. I'm just gonna assume Aaron's on that with and Nick DeVos chili peppers. He likes those right there. So.
Yeah, I think you might.
Did he mean chili? Does he mean chili? He just meant chili in general. Chili. Oh, I can always
just
go.
meant chili. Chili, yeah, I always go chili.
Nick DeVos, let me tell you this: chili cheeseburger. Those smack, especially at Conley's in Belmont. Shout out Conley's in Belmont. They've got a nice little chili cheeseburger there. And yeah, Charlie Usher is gonna kill it. But we're
surprised about the spinach, Josh. Though I'm surprised about the spinach. I gotta say that to them. I gotta shout out Dylan and because Dylan agreed to the spinach slaps. Yeah, listen, it slaps. It's up there. Just like she said, it's goated. It's up there too. I mean, those are the two dips you gotta have. You can't have anything else. I think you're just gonna have those two right there. I mean, I'm surprised, Josh, from you with the spinach hate. He does like the spinach artichoke. And here, there we go. Rob's in here now. Of course, he's got to bring up the Cowboy, the Conleys. So shout out Conleys. He's got to get into the paid ad or whatever. He's always got to shout at them too. There we go. Conley's Pub and Grow. Shout out Rob.
That'd be an interesting spot to do a live show at.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
Rob, go figure that out for us. He wants to jump in on it. Rob can figure it out.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna start off with some parlays, some bets. Actually, Dylan cooked up a little parlay in the chat for us. We'll see. Me and Ben will maybe grade it. We'll see what we think of it. Here we go. So Dylan has Christian McCaffrey and Isaiah Pacheco anytime touchdowns. I actually, quick little spoiler alert, I have both of those in my bets to watch. I mean, I think those I would put. This one gets a little tricky for me. He has both quarterbacks over 1.5 touchdowns. So both quarterbacks have to throw 2 touchdowns. And Travis Kelce essentially has to have 71 receiving yards, over 70.5, plus 900 odds. Ben, I don't hate that. I'm just a little nervous about the quarterbacks. I think if you look at Patrick Mahomes' track record in the postseason, same with Purdy, I think they like to lean a lot on their running backs. I think there's a couple games within this postseason that Patrick Mahomes has played in where he's only thrown 1 touchdown pass. So, Super Bowl, bright lights, I could be wrong. I think that might be the one that I stay away from, though. But, hey, it's a parlay. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, he just threw one that last game. I know it was a little tougher. Obviously, Baltimore, it was a little grimier game. Obviously, second half, nobody really scored, so it was a little tougher for those offenses to get going. But yeah, I think Josh, I'm going to have to agree on that one. That's the scariest one. Like I said, I don't want to ruin too much, with some of my picks, but big time Pacheco guy. I mean, CMC is the easiest. If you want to go with the safest touchdown person. On the Niners team, you got to go CMC, touchdown player, I should say. You got to go CMC. I'm really liking Ayuk, though. I'm going to hold off on that one, too. I'm throwing teasers out there, Josh, but I'm really liking some of the overs that I'm seeing for Ayuk. But, I mean, safest bet for San Fran, you got to go CMC. And as you mentioned, Kansas City's relying heavily on the run this postseason. You're seeing obviously Pacheco's emergence throughout this whole season, but they're just heavily relying on him in the playoffs. So obviously like that anytime. And Kelce, that's an easy one. 70. So you just showcased the last game against the Ravens. He's his go-to guy no matter what happens this season, no matter what lack of weapons they have. He's got Kelce. He's going to go to him. Just shattering. I think I mentioned it every single week, but I mean, they're shattering every single duo record. I think they got the most completions, passes completed to each other, most touchdowns, past Brady and Gronk in the Ravens game. So you got to take the overs for Kelce. And Josh, to be honest, too, you got to take the overs on all this stuff. You gotta have a little fun. So I don't want to see too many people taking the unders. Take the unders on some things, but you want to see a high scoring game in the Super Bowl.
100%. I agree with that. Normally, I would definitely lean over on most things. Those touchdown passing ones, though, Dylan, I was looking at those a little bit. We've got Jeff with another little parlay here to look at. He's got Travis Kelce and Christian McCaffrey for anytime touchdowns. Pair that with Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes to throw for 250 passing yards each is plus 630 odds there. Not bad odds. I don't hate that. I like that one a little bit more than the passing touchdowns won. I don't know what it is, but I think both these teams have pretty good defenses. I don't know. I don't think we're going to expect an air show in terms of... I think 250 makes sense, though. That's reasonable.
Yeah, I like that one. It's just, like you said, I think it's going to be a little more run heavy. If I'm going to be completely honest, I think both these teams are going to rely a little more on the runs. So I'm looking more at the running backs, overs, looking to see hit some of those ones. But yeah, that's a nice one from Jeff. And Rob picks have been hot. I got to see these picks, Rob. We got to see these picks. He says he's hot, but I don't know. He's not throwing anything in there. Man, he's going to color the Gatorade is going to be light blue. All right.
Light blue.
I don't even think you can bet on
right.
it. I don't know where you can bet on it. I think you might have to go on the offshore accounts. I think, yeah. I don't know if it's on FanDuel or the legal sites, maybe.
I thought that was one of the biggest things. I'm gonna look that up. We'll get back to that one. Light blue, though. I like that one, Rob.
Light blue.
Aside from that, we're starting to talk off here with some parlays, some Super Bowl bets. That's what our first part of the show is going to be. Then we'll get into some game preview. Here we go. Top right of the screen here. This is what it's all about. This is essentially what we're looking at here. We've got Super Bowl odds for MVP. Patrick Mahomes tops that list, followed by Brock Purdy plus 225. Then you've got CMC. If you're feeling pretty good, you got Christian McCaffrey at plus 475 odds. Then Travis Kelce, the Swifties, they would love this, plus 1,200 odds. Great odds if you're a Swiftie. And then we've got some of the anytime touchdown scores down there in the bottom for you. James, just want to throw that one out there. James wanted me to say this as well. He is huge on Deebo Samuel. He thinks Deebo Samuel, opposed to Ben and me, I like Ayuk a little bit more in this game. I agree with Ben. I'm not going to give away too much, but James loves Deebo Samuel in this game. So you see right there, plus 130 for Deebo Samuel to get in there. You know they like to mix and match him, as Ben mentioned. They love that running game. They love to get Deebo Samuel involved in that running game. So there's some decent odds to look at. Rashee Rice as well. That's kind of his second-hand man, aside from Travis Kelce, third-hand man. But decent odds here. These are kind of safer bets, I think, Ben. And I think just out of what I'm seeing right here on this screen, I can go first. I can go with some of mine. Or I think mine are first here. But based off what I have seen, I like a lot of those. And the reasons why I like a lot of those is they're safe. I think you look at the quarterback odds for MVP, and it's super safe with Patrick Mahomes. As you can see here, a little updated. I've got Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. I think that is a bet you can lock in. If they win, I think it's probably going to go to him. It's gone to a quarterback most of the time, as it does in the regular season. The Swifties, I think Travis Kelce finds his way into the end zone. I know the odds aren't amazing, but I think that is kind of a surefire bet here. It's kind of good because mine and Ben's are kind of different. Ben's got the better odds. I've kind of gone...
Go a little crazy, Josh.
Parlay, like stuff that you throw in a parlay. And on to Ben's point there, I love Brandon Ayuk. I love his over on the receptions there. He's got to get 5. I think he nails that, plus 120. And this one is a very interesting one. I know some of you guys are looking at the screen like, what the hell? Christian McCaffrey get 2 touchdowns? That kind of seems wild for only plus 245 odds. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Last 2 games that Christian McCaffrey has played in the playoffs, so the only 2 playoff games that he has played, he has reached the end zone twice. Follow that down there. Isaiah Pacheco, I know those odds aren't amazing. Anytime touchdown, as Ben mentioned, they're going to run the ball a lot. These 2 quarterbacks are going to lean on their running backs to kind of, especially the Chiefs as well. I think the 49ers have a little bit more weapons. They'll probably switch it up. But again, I think they're going to lean on their running backs as well. And hey, for my betting people out there, Isaiah Pacheco has scored in 5 of his last 6 games, and he's scored in 3 straight games in a row. He has reached past the pylon. So if you want some secure bets, these are kind of some secure bets for you right here. I think the Christian McCaffrey one's kind of a fun one. I'm going to put that in my parlay. I think he's going to score twice. I have a feeling about it. That's kind of why earlier when Dylan was saying McCaffrey over 2 touchdown passes, I was like, maybe if Purdy, if McCaffrey gets a receiving touchdown and then Purdy throws another one to Ayuk or something, then we're talking. But I think it's going to be a run-heavy game, as Ben mentioned. They're not going to light it up in the pass sheet, and these are some safe bets here.
Yeah, we'll get to these. I don't know what everyone's talking about. James is calling out people. He wants Cody. He wants what does Sean want? I don't really get those ones. So I just had to have him say that. I had to have myself say that. I should say. I don't know. We'll get to
Uh,
Josh's opinion on The Rock in a second,
oh,
Rob.
jeez, please.
I don't know if he doesn't. I don't know if we can take a Super Bowl timeout for this one, but I don't really get that one. But I'm just gonna hit this one. Just, I mean, these are, Rob wants how secure some of these ones are. I think that Ayuk one's money. I think I know Josh kind of gave a little teaser on that one. Me and Josh are more in sync with the Ayuk. I don't know why Jimmy's on the Debo. I think they control Debo. I think Kansas City figures a way out to just get rid of him, and I think that's where Ayuk excels. I think they're just going to leave him single coverage and I mean, to be honest, throughout this whole season, Purdy and Ayuk, he's been his sort of go-to guy. I know Debo's, electrifying plays, he's long touchdowns. Kittle's always reliable, but he's been a little injured, and I don't know, he's gone away in games sometimes, but it's always been Ayuk. He's always been going to Ayuk this whole season, and he's Mr. Reliable for him. So I think you got to hammer that 4.5. That's a great one from Josh on that one. Anytime, yeah, Kelsey for the Swifties. Listen, the Swifties are going to go anytime touchdown. You got to go with that one. Mahomes safest bet. That's easy. If you want to go with a safe bet for any MVP, just choose the opposed, any quarterback for either team. So Jimmy coming in here with the Samuel MVP, it's good odds, but
Plus 2,000. Sorry, Ben. Just want to throw that out there. So
yeah,
if you're
no,
feeling
it's perfect.
James,
Perfect time.
that's a reach there. Good odds there.
Yeah, listen, like I said, if you want to have a little fun, if you want to make some money, don't spend too much, set yourself at a limit. But you get some good payouts potentially. And no, Rob. Rob, we will not be giving any money back. If any of the legs don't hit, that's under yours. Still waiting for your picks, Rob. I mean, it's Robbie Betts. We gave him a whole segment. And I gotta see what he likes. We know what Dylan likes. We like I liked what Dylan was putting out there. I think it's about Machine Rice. That's a solid one. And I don't know who scores first. I'm leaning with the running back, Rob. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since a running back scored. I forget which one it was. It might have been that Pats Rams game, the Pats Rams Super Bowl. I forget who scored first for the running. That might have been the last thing. That's probably wrong, but I felt like I saw a tweet about that. So, but I'm gonna go either running back, Rob. Give me CMC or Pacheco for who scores first. You decide. You decide from there.
Like that. I mean, when he asked that, I'm like, I could see it being like, we go something safe, like a Caffrey or a Pacheco or maybe like a Kelsey, and then it ends up being like Juwan Jennings or something, and you're like, what the hell? A defensive touchdown. Jeff Warren here coming in. Clyde plus 2,800 first touchdown. It's an interesting.
That's very good. I mean, I favor more McKinnon, Josh.
McKinnon, Jarek, he's back. He is back.
Jarek's out there. Jarek's got some good odds out there, so I like where Josh had that. But it's Clyde or Jarek I would go with, but I'm leaning towards McKinnon. I feel like McKinnon makes some plays out of the backfield for Mahomes. And as we mentioned, throughout the whole season, Mahomes has some lack of weapons, doesn't have his normal, amount of weapons on the offensive side. So I think, use some of these random guys in the Super Bowl. I don't know, maybe Justin Watson, Noah Gray. You throw some of those guys out there. Those guys got some good. I know it's detract. Kelsey's going to get his, I think, regardless. But you never know. Some of those backup tight ends, Mahomes might throw off a touchdown too. So I like where everyone's heads at so far, Josh. That's where you got to keep it for the Super Bowl. You got to have a little fun because you never know. You never know what could happen.
Oh, 100%. Here we go. We talked about mine. Now, here are some of Ben's Super Bowl bets to watch. Ben, talk us through some of these.
I've been teasing this one. This is my MVP. Listen, don't put too much money on this. Don't put too much money on this. But for some reason, I got something in the gut. I don't know. Pacheco. Obviously, Chiefs got to win. Like I said, we got to get those disclaimers out the way. But I think I'm very confident on this one. Chiefs win. I'm gonna throw a little cash on that Pacheco. I might, plus 3,000, 3,500. That's pretty good odds right there. For a guy who I think has really just emerged as obviously behind Kelsey as his number two for Mahomes. We've seen it through this whole postseason, him coming up with that clutch touchdown against the Ravens. Obviously, we saw what he did against the Bills, just turning that defense up, and just throughout this whole season, he's kind of, you know, been sort of just Patrick Mahomes guy. Patrick Mahomes never really had a run game. I know we mentioned Clyde, and he was there for a little bit, but he's never really had that bruising back, and Pacheco can catch it too out there. So, uh, stream, yeah, you never know.
It would be funny. That would be
Yeah, that would
funny.
be funny. Yeah, it's gonna be a crowded area, so I don't know if we get a live stream going, but that would be nice. That's a potential idea. We can float that one around, but I mean, listen, hey, if Pacheco's gonna be the MVP, give me that camera, the whole time. But I'm confident. I'm confident in that one, Josh. Like I said, don't throw too much money in there, but I think Pacheco's going to get that one because it's too easy with Mahomes, and you don't want to be too boring. I think Pacheco comes out here, makes some big plays for the Chiefs. Uh, so I got that one. This, obviously throw McCaffrey in there. That's an easy MVP, but got those easier ones in there too. Watch out. I don't know. Anytime touchdown for the Chiefs D. I don't know. Brock Purdy under the bright lights. Throws a little pass haywire. I don't know. There's been crazier things that have happened. I could see that Chiefs team. They've been making plays all postseason. I could see them returning something back. I like Purdy and everything, but it's first Super Bowl going up against this veteran defense. Guys like Chris Jones. Just going up against this Chiefs team. It's been here before. So I like the Chiefs defense. Get a little sneaky touchdown. Yeah, listen, Ayuk, we're gonna hammer the Ayuk. Me and Josh are on that one. I think we're just gonna hammer the Ayuk yards, catches. Throw him at an anytime touchdown if you want, but I think he's gonna get the yards. I think he's gonna be Purdy's go-to guy. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is, and I'm gonna, we've obviously got the Kelsey one in there, but my crazier one, the 2-point conversion, Josh. I think this is plus money, obviously. Uh, I could I could see it. I don't know. We've got just two creative offensive play callers, and Shanahan and Reed. Obviously they're going to have a little footprint in it. But I think they're going to come up with something. I think this is going to be a little high scoring game. So I see a 2-point conversion out there. So I'm going to have that one. I like that one. Just remember these ones, everybody. Pacheco MVP, Chiefs defense touchdown, uh, and there will be a 2-point conversion. And the rest is boring, Josh, too. So the rest is easy stuff.
No, for sure. I mean, I can't. I think the Kelsey it's so tough for me to even sit here and say, "Oh, I'm gonna play it safe." I play it safe, or guys, play it safe in your parlays. But again, I
Yeah.
think just looking at some of these ones that you've thrown out, I really, if you're looking for odds, you're looking for, you know, you want to put in a couple separate ones. I know some of my friends out there, I got some peeps that like to do separate small. They don't like to do parlays. They just like to do separate little bets. Whatever hits, they hit on, then instead of just stacking it all up. And if one misses, there goes one leg doesn't hit,
Okay.
your whole thing's done. But the ones that really stick out to me are the Ayuk for yards. I think he's gonna kill it. I disagree with James. I think Debo has just been in and out. We saw it in that Packers game. We've seen it all season. No knock to him, but I think teams look to kind of minimize him and just let, as Ben mentioned, let Ayuk kind of take over, and that's kind of what's been happening. He's been getting more receptions. He's been kind of the leading receiver on that team, aside from Kittle's had his moments too. And of course, you got to throw out McCaffrey, who's probably their best player on offense, in my opinion. But I like the McCaffrey Super Bowl MVP. I really like the Brandon Ayuk over receiving yards. Travis Kelsey, they're going to hammer the receptions for him. Bright lights. Taylor Swift's watching. He's going to get in that end zone as well. And I think Ben might have, I don't know if he mentioned this. I might have been daydreaming when he mentioned this, but did you mention, I really like this one. It is Travis Kelsey and
We
Brandon
did not mention
Ayuk.
that. We were saving. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. The Brandon
Ben,
Ayuk.
you,
That
yep,
was
you say it, Ben. You
that was
say
a
it.
FanDuel one. That was a
Okay.
FanDuel one. Listen, so if you got an FanDuel, but I was in those little just prop, those little fun game time bets. But I've got Brandon Ayuk and Travis Kelsey to combine for 200 plus receiving yards at plus 390. So that's a pretty good plus right there for two guys that, we've been mentioning this whole time, favorite targets of both quarterbacks, in our opinion. So I think that's just That's a juicy one. That one's calling me.
I like that.
That's a top tier one. But I think we set that one aside, Josh. We set that one aside because we want to give it a little time to it. But I think just like I mentioned, just the go-to guys, they're going to be relying on them heavily. Because you never know. Hey, I mean, Travis Kelce could go for 120, and all you need is 80 from Ayuk or vice versa. So, it's those guys are the potential, both those players give you the potential just to carry you to that 200, by themselves. So I think, combining them, that's a great play. Just another one too. Isaiah Pacheco, 30 plus rushing yards in each half. I think they're gonna be feeding him the ball a decent amount. And I know we're throwing all these. Where are they going to get all these yards from? People are wondering now. That they're going to be like, all right, that's a lot of yards being thrown around. That's why you say, hey, bet responsibly. Don't be throwing all this. Is just stuff we like, just stuff that's intriguing. I can see it going that way, but I think they're going to rely on him. So I think 30 yards is easy for him each half. You can break that off in one run. Each half. So. I think they're going to be relying on him. So I'm going with those two other confident ones out there. So I think only if you have FanDuel. So from the FanDuel people.
Oh, for sure. If I had to parlay, like, because as Ben mentioned, like these, yeah, people are probably thinking, what the hell? Like, how, everybody's gonna score. If I had to parlay, like, out of the bets that we mentioned, I think I'm gonna go. I really like the McCaffrey for 2 touchdowns. I really like Travis Kelce to reach the end zone. I really like Brandon Ayuk over 4.5. Then there's one more that I'd parlay in there, and that is the money line for one team. That would put it up
Okay.
to plus something. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of what I would stick with. I think, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, during the show, but I think I agree with Ben. I think these teams, if anything, are going to start off kind of feeling each other out, running the ball, playing a little conservative, trying to chew up clock, little screen passes, getting guys like Travis Kelce, Debo Samuel. They can kind of do multiple different things. The Chiefs love that quick little flick to Travis Kelce. It's almost like a rushing play, but it's not. It's a quick little lob. They like to kind of do different things, and as Ben has mentioned, both of these coaches can get a little fancy and gamble at times as well. I really like that 2-point conversion attempt. I mean, if a team's down two, they get desperate,
Yeah.
they go for the 2-point. Or as Ben mentioned, they want to put their foot on the neck here. They want to end things a little early, get ahead of it. That's another point for them too. Again, it's odds. If you're chasing some odds, you like it. But as mentioned, I think that this Super Bowl is going to be run heavy, and I think a little bit later in the game we're going to start to see that's where the Jeff bets start to happen. That's where maybe Dylan gets lucky on his passing touchdowns. I think it's a little later into these games for both of these teams once they start to kind of kick it up. And I know that the Chiefs have kind of not shown that too much in the second half, but as Ben has mentioned, the bright lights are on. Brock Purdy's going to have to, these guys are going to have to give it for both halves, Ben. It's not just going to be a one half and then a drop off in the second half. I want to see them give it all out, both halves. And to Rob's question, I was talking to my cat Romo today. I think he's kind of on me. He's feeling
Let's go,
like he
Romo.
doesn't know, but I think he's leaning 49ers. I'm not saying that's the team I'm going with, but I was talking to him. He gives me those 49ers vibes. I think he's a big Christian McCaffrey fan. And yeah, that's kind of how Romo is. I think Romo likes the NFC team. So I think Romo woke up today. He said 49ers, but we could do like a funny thing where we see which helmet Romo goes for. I'm starting to think of that.
You could.
Might
Yeah.
be a good little idea. Maybe we'll see what Romo thinks. Maybe have Aaron help me out with that one. That'd be a cool little funny thing. But yeah, Rob's all excited. I don't know. That's just my vibe on what I feel from Romo. But I don't know. He could be a Swiftie down deep in his heart. I don't know. I always thought he was more of a screamo type of guy. But yeah, no, I'm kidding. But
Shout out to Romo. Shout out to Romo.
I
Come on.
think we're gonna do something now. Maybe we'll post it on the TikTok or something. We'll see what Romo decides for
I think
what
it's a great
team he
idea.
wants.
Let's
Aaron
go,
coming
Romo.
in, Romo's laying right next to me and says he wants to be left out of it. So Romo, yeah, let's get Romo's pick and Ben's cat too. Ben, let's get your cat. What's your cat's name again?
Sid and Nancy.
Sid
Got
and
two.
Nancy.
So
Let's get their
we don't
picks.
need them. We don't need their picks, man. They're kind of lazy. They won't. They won't like it. But I could try that. We could try that. Not very. They don't pay attention too much. Not very obedient, but we could always try. Let's see what the cats think, Josh. That's a nice little segment.
little one. Lewis does not like it. Lewis, he's all fired up.
He doesn't like
So,
cats. Yeah, it's all right.
ladies and gentlemen, we're getting towards that second half of the show. If you've got any more parlay, you got any more bets that you want to throw out, I do too, Charlie, big cat guy. If you got any more bets, parlays, you want our opinions on them, shoot them out. But now's the time when we start to switch over to the game preview. We still got a lot of time left in the show. But let's actually break down this Super Bowl. We've already kind of been doing that a little bit here. And I want to encourage you guys to go on out, drop your picks. We want to hear from you. We'll be posting this week a little bit later once it gets closer to the Super Bowl as well. Who you guys got. We want to hear your reactions next week too. We are for sure going to recap, talk a lot about the Super Bowl. But as Ben mentioned, I mean, this is it. We really have to soak it all up. This is the last week of football until September. I mean, the summer will have already been on its way out by the time we get to football season. So, and I guess we got the draft to look forward to. But again, this game, Ben, it's going to be a very, very run-heavy game. I think, as I mentioned, I feel like Christian McCaffrey, I was looking at, I think his over was 90. I think the last game they played, he either had 90 or 92. He was just under 100. So I'm not sure he gets to the over, but I think he is going to get a lot of receptions. And I think they're going to kind of switch it up, Ben. I think that they're going to have different packages, different looks. And this is kind of a bold take from me. I don't know what it is. I know you guys were talking about earlier who's going to score first, who's going to get the ball first. I have a weird feeling that Kyle Shanahan's going to want to get the ball first, or he either gets the ball first, and I think that team is going to score first. It's a bold prediction of mine. I know that this Chiefs defense is very stingy, Ben. I'll give you that. I'll give everybody that, especially in the beginning of the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy. But I think they might score first. That's a big, bold take of mine. And I think Kyle Shanahan's going to ask for the ball first. Kind of food for thought here. Lewis says 27-21 San Francisco 49ers. And this is an interesting one here. I like this one. Over 12 times Taylor gets shown in the first half. I'm going to say under. Yeah. 12 is a lot, but that...
Yeah, he's got to change that. He's got to change that one, Josh. Sorry, but he's got to change that 12. We got to get that lower. No way. Let's put it at 7.5. We'll go 7.5. That's a little more reasonable.
I still take under. That. Maybe that's a Super Bowl thing. That's like a Super Bowl drinking game. You take a drink every single time, or a sip every single time you see Taylor. I mean, she's going to be on the thing more. So many. Lewis saying heavy over. Heavy. I think the under. The under on both Ben's.
Maybe if you throw the mentions in there, Josh, too. Obviously, maybe if you throw mentions or appearances anytime they show her. I'll give you 12 for that one. That's a little closer, but they're not going to show her 12 times. Listen, they got to show the game. They got to show the football game. We can't just see Taylor Swift the whole time. I'm compiling all the Niners people. So we got Romo. I believe Rob's on the Niners too from Romo's decision. It seemed like Rob's going to be riding the Niners. And Lewis now with the Niners. So we're getting a little team over there. I'm not saying that. I mean, Josh is saving that one, but I see the Niner people. I see the Niners. Just getting a list, Josh.
Ben's throwing. I don't know. He's throwing a little shade here. I don't know. We'll see. He's kind of, I don't know. He's keeping it interesting here. I just want to throw this one out here. The Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers have met 15 times in their all-time series here. Who do you think has won more games out of those? 15 times, Ben. I'm going to ask you. 15 times they've matched up. Who owns that?
San Fran. San Fran.
I'm going to say this. It's close. One team has one more win than the other team. It's 8-7.
Oh, I was going to go 10-5. I'm going to stick with the San Fran. I thought it was a little more heavy on the San Fran side. I'm a little surprised to see whoever's up in this series is just up one. I thought San Fran back in the day probably would have beat them up a little more. But I'm sticking with San Fran. I see that one from Nick DeVos. I don't know about 25-9. It's going to be a little closer than that. But Jeff, I love that score. Jeff loves seeing the minus 10.5. Yeah, 25 tonight. That's a little rough. I think the Niners score a little more than that, but like I said, Jeff would love that score, so that'd be good for him. Uh, but no, yeah, I'm gonna stick with San Fran, Josh. Lock that answer in.
Per Bleacher Report, the Kansas City Chiefs
Uh,
lead the all-time series versus San Francisco by a margin of 8-7. Very, very close. And I want to throw one thing out there. I'm pretty sure Andy Reid is either 2-0 or 3-0 against Kyle Shanahan head to head in just straight matchups. I know that they beat them in 2022 in the regular season. They actually annihilated them 44-23.
I
They
got the
won
Super
that
Bowl,
previous
so
Super Bowl.
2 minutes. All right.
But I didn't know that it was that close in the mark. I would have agreed with you, Ben, just thinking of all time and just how, strong that San Francisco 49ers franchise has been. The Chiefs, they were great back in the day, but they went through their lulls. I would have thought the San Francisco 49ers had actually won that. I would have agreed with you on that. But nope, the Chiefs lead it by 1. So, I mean, everything in history says this is going to be a close game. And you just got to go back and forth. And let's start breaking some of the games down. Let's start breaking some of the game down. Let's start with the San Francisco 49ers side of the ball here, Ben. I'm going to start with the offense. This offense, as you've mentioned here a little bit, Brock Purdy, I think, is their X factor, Ben. I know that this is super, super basic take. It's the quarterback, yada, yada, yada. I mentioned that he's the X factor because I know what Christian McCaffrey can do. I know what Deebo Samuel can do. I know that all of these weapons are, if not one of these weapons is going to show up. Whether it's Ayuk, whether it's Jennings, whether it's Kittle, whether it's Juszczyk to make a couple huge first downs to extend the chains. Excuse me. I know that they're going to do that. But I don't know what Brock Purdy I'm going to see. Are we going to see the Brock Purdy in the second half of that Detroit Lions game? Or are we going to see the Brock Purdy in the first half of that Detroit Lions game that didn't look like he belonged in the NFC Championship game and all the doubters were being proven right? I think it's going to turn on him. And as mentioned, Ben, I think what the San Francisco 49ers need to do is lean on your boy and my boy, Christian McCaffrey. Use him out of the backfield, use him in the running game, get Deebo Samuel involved, as James had mentioned. Use him in the running game, do different schemes and packages with him. I'm not an offensive coordinator, but you can scheme him up in many different ways. Get Kittle going. You've got to get Kittle on those long bombs, those third downs. Kittle needs to step up. Get a little play action going as well. Get Brock Purdy comfortable in that pocket, because if not, it's going to be a very long and gruesome game if the Chiefs get up ahead. And on the defensive side of the ball there for the 49ers, they have to stop that running game, as you mentioned, Ben. Make guys like Noah Gray and Justin Watson step up. Shut down Travis Kelce. Or you can just say, hey, we're going to let Travis Kelce go bananas on us, but we're going to shut down everybody else. We're going to challenge Marquez Valdez-Scantling to one-on-one. We're going to double Travis Kelce. Everybody else, have your best shot. Rashee Rice, let's see what you can do. Or let's see if they are that Kansas City Chiefs team that's going to drop all these passes and Mahomes is going to be up in frustration. Another thing too, Ben, that the San Francisco 49ers need to do, and I'm calling on a specific player who was brought into this team to really push them over the top, and that is Chase Young. He needs to be dominant. You've got two factions, like two staples on both sides of the defensive rush. You've got Nick Bosa and you've got Chase Young. These guys have to get after Patrick Mahomes. Let Dre Greenlaw run crazy on that defense as well. They have to get the pressure on Mahomes. The last time Mahomes lost the Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Bucks had him on his ass half the game. That's what the San Francisco 49ers need to do to win the game. Flip side. Very similar recipe here for Patrick Mahomes, but a little bit easier. I think you follow the formula of not turning the ball over. Patrick Mahomes has not turned the ball over once at all in this playoffs. At all, which is insane. No fumbles, no nothing. He has been perfect. They need to continue to do that. And I think guys like Marquez Valdez-Scantling need to step up as well. We know Rashee Rice is going to do his thing. As mentioned, we don't know what the San Francisco 49ers are going to do. Are they going to double Travis Kelce, or are they going to force Kelce to kind of have his way and then let some of the other guys try and step up? Or just say, all right, we'll have Travis Kelce can kill us, but we're going to stack the box and make it a lot harder for Isaiah Pacheco and you guys to get your run game going. If they do that, a lot of these guys on the offense of the Chiefs have to step up. And it all starts with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And the biggest thing that I want to see out of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is the same formula that they've had. Do not turn the ball over. Keep these long drives going and force these young, unchallenged quarterbacks to make a mistake. You look at all the games that Patrick Mahomes has played against Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bills, they had that one blunder, that turnover. That helped the Chiefs win the game. You look at that game against the Ravens, that Chiefs defense, Patrick Mahomes and company, they didn't turn the ball over. They did what they had to do, and they forced Lamar Jackson to be superhero. He ends up turning an interception, makes a bad play. Same thing with Tua. Patrick Mahomes, he challenged him. He said, we're going to go out there, we're going to score as many times as we want. We're going to punt less than 3 times, and we're going to force pretty much the opposing team to be perfect. If they do that, it's going to be a long day for the San Francisco 49ers. That's kind of the key, the formula. Do not turn the ball over if you're Patrick Mahomes. Continue to ride that success of the running game, and you need guys like MVS, Rashee Rice, Justin Watson, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman, as you mentioned. He was on the anytime touchdown scorers. You need those guys to have impacts, Ben. And on the defensive side of the ball, just keep doing what you're doing. You held the Ravens to 17 points. You've seen what the Ravens did to the 49ers. You watched what the Lions did. You have those physical players to kind of challenge Christian McCaffrey as well. Because if you take Christian McCaffrey out of that game, you limit Deebo Samuel, and you force Ayuk to kind of be that number one guy, you're going to start to see Brock Purdy panic. You're going to start to see him struggle. This Chiefs defense, I think, Ben, I'm not worried about them. They're going to match up very well against the 49ers. I don't know what the over-under is there, if somebody wants to check that, but
47.5.
That is golden. I think that's going to be right around what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be anything over 50.
Vegas knows.
Vegas does know. That was going to be my thing. I don't think both teams get over 25. I think we see like a 23-20. I think these defenses are very well poised, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of chess matchups. And if it turns into chess matchups, well, guess what? The Kansas City Chiefs have that. We need to see what the San Francisco 49ers can do. But on the opposite side here, Ben, the Kansas City Chiefs haven't seen a well-rounded offense and defense like this San Francisco 49ers team. So I know I threw a lot out there. I was kind of splurging on everything, but it's going to come down to talent showing up on the field and scheming. That's it. Talent and scheming. Very basic, but it's true.
No, hey, it's how they got here, Josh. The basics, the fundamentals, how you get there. I hate to agree with you too easily on that one, but yeah, for San Fran, it's pretty simple. Good point from Lewis to bringing up Chiefs defense. Can't stop Kittle. That's another thing to look out for San Fran. What kind of Kittle performance are we going to get? Because sometimes, he can be a monster, and he can be that best tight end that we've seen him be throughout these past seasons, where he's ascended to being right up there with Kelce, or he can kind of take a back seat. That's just another one to watch. But I mean, really, for San Fran, it's Purdy. This is up to Purdy. We know what all the weapons are going to do. Deebo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey. We know what's going to happen, but can Purdy deliver against a team that's not the Packers, who's Jordan Love is going to miss multiple third downs. We had a great postseason run, but you got to hit some of those throws in the postseason and have a kicker and Anders Carlson miss. Listen, I don't want to come after an NFL kicker. I'm no athlete at this point either. But I mean, that was a pretty attainable goal. It was a pretty easy field goal. Missed that, and then have Love throw an interception and go to the Lions. Have Dan Campbell go for it on fourth down every single time. Have them shoot themselves in the foot. Again, Dan Campbell. You got to that point being aggressive, but you shot yourself in the foot there. You're either going to live by it or you're going to die by it, and they died by it. So. I want to see how Purdy can react to, a coach and Andy Reid who's not going to do that, and a quarterback in Mahomes who's going to make those third down plays, and he's not going to, blow it for their team. He's going to get those third down conversions. He's going to lead that team. So it's going to be a bigger fight for Purdy. So it's an easy one. San Fran D, just go after Kelsey. Go after Kelsey. Have everyone else beat you. It's easy for San Fran. There's some easy ones right here. Defense, just get rid of Kelsey. Get rid of Kelsey. Listen, I'm glad Josh brought up the Hardman too. That's another one. Good. That's 1,500 anytime touchdown. I forgot to throw that one in there too. I think Hardman. I could see Hardman again there. I know he had that Bills blunder where he got the touchback, but I could see them drawing up a little trick play that Rob mentioned. Rob mentioned seeing a little trick play. I could see the Chiefs throwing that one out there for Hardman. So San Fran D, it's easy. Just get rid of Kelsey. Let the rest beat you, as Josh mentioned. That's easy. San Fran, you've got the blueprint out there. You just got to go execute. Got to go get this one now. Chiefs, that was my guy, but just give the ball to Pacheco. I think this is just the big game for key to success for them. Just give the ball to Pacheco. Don't become too one-dimensional. Don't be just targeting Kelsey every time, and just get that run game going because that's going to open up everyone else. MVS, never even know. Maybe a Sky Moore gets involved or something. Some of these other guys are going to have to step up. But there we go. Lewis, we'll get to that point in a sec, Lewis. I don't know. He said 49ers offensive line is better than Kansas City defensive line, excuse me. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. I'm probably going to have to give him that one. I know Chris Jones is out there, but I don't know. I think that Kansas City linebackers have been really playing well. I think the secondary stepped up. So I think Lewis needs to give the Kansas City defense a little more credit. Come on, Lewis. I don't know. I don't know what that one, but for that Kansas City, you just gotta make a play. I know I said that plus 700 anytime touchdown. You gotta go make a play for Mahomes because you can't let that offense be out there the whole time. That offense is just too strong. It's just too many weapons out there. They're going to figure out a way to get it done, with a great play caller. He's got to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about that one. But I think it's pretty easy for these ones, Josh. I think you just, these guys got the blueprints. They played each other. You're just going to go execute it. I think, mainly it's just let's see what Brock Purdy we're going to get because we know what we're going to get out of the Chiefs. It's really just who's going to be Mahomes' sort of next weapon, who's going to step up for him next. But for San Fran, it's just what kind of Purdy performance are we going to get? Is he going to elevate and just become one of the top tier quarterbacks, or is he just going to be one of those average sort of game managers? I'm excited to see that, but it's getting close to pick time, Josh. So I want to get my pick out there because I know you've decided. And I've decided too. I decided. A little pre-show, a little before the show, probably like 10 minutes before the show, I decided. So I've been on this one for a little.
We're getting there. We're getting there. I just want to your point there, Ben. I mean, Chris Jones, I think he has matured so much since that offsides that Lewis is referring to. And I disagree. I mean, I think that this defense has done a phenomenal job. You look at that road, that path that they took is a lot different than that San Francisco 49ers path. They didn't have a bye week. They didn't have anything easy, Ben. They went up against one of the most fastest and physical, most cultivating and emerging offenses in the NFL, and they toyed with them. They toyed with them. They took down the Miami Dolphins. They took down the Buffalo Bills, and they shut down MVP Lamar Jackson. I mean, they made him look foolish in that second half. They held the Ravens to 10 points. Wasn't it 17-10? The Baltimore Ravens, who just annihilated the 49ers earlier in the season and was on a collision course. They had everything going for them at home. They shut them out completely. I think that this defense has the linebackers, as Ben mentioned, and if you have stud linebackers to kind of minimize and make things difficult for Christian McCaffrey, you have a good chance to win. You see what the Lions were able to do. Jack Campbell and that other guy, Rodriguez. I'm blanking on his first name. They made life very difficult for Christian McCaffrey. He had 20 rushes for 92 yards. He had to grind out everyone. Of course, Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. He's going to elevate that offense every time. Every time he steps on the field, he's going to change the game. You can't completely shut him out. But I think that this Kansas City Chiefs team has a great chance to do that. And with that being said, Ben, I'm going to make my pick, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you're a betting guy. You love these odds. They are not favored. The San Francisco 49ers are favored with the spread, and the Chiefs are plus, what is it, 125 or something like that? 100, something
I
like
got him
that.
at 110. I got him at
110, there you
110 right
go.
now. It's going down right now, but
I mean, I think it's a walk in the park for not a walk in the park. Not a walk in the park.
oh,
For not a walk in the park. Not a walk in the park. Because the San Francisco 49ers team is very good. But I think that they have too many questions. I think we've saw a little bit of what the people like the Tylers, the Jareds, the Lewises, or maybe it wasn't Lewis, the Codys, a lot of those skeptical guys on Brock Purdy. We seen that in the playoffs. We saw this Detroit Lions team take Purdy to the limits. We saw the same thing with the Green Bay Packers. And guess what? I think the road is going to be a little short. They're not going to be able to kind of squeak by with these mistakes against a very poised team like the Kansas City Chiefs. And on the opposite side of things, this isn't Andy Reid's first rodeo. Of course, this isn't Kyle Shanahan's either. Of course, he wants his revenge. But I don't think he's going to get it, Ben. And I think that this Kansas City Chiefs team is poised. On the other side, I think the San Francisco 49ers have the talent. I just don't think they're going to get it done. I think they put all their chips, all of it in there. I would have had them winning it all, but something about that last game, something about that game against the Packers, I didn't see the Chiefs struggle like they did. I think the Chiefs have had the further road. I think that this is all set up for them. I think this is a matchup that they're really, truly going to cherish. I think their defense is going to have a good time matching up. And I think they're going to get the job done. 23-17. They get it done. I was thinking 23-20. Maybe I'll put that as like a hedge, 23-20. But I think 23-17. A little bit further of a spread there. I mean, I would not run away with that whatsoever. But I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get it done. After seeing what they did to the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, they held them to 10 points. They did all that they could with the Buffalo Bills too. I think Brock Purdy, the bright lights, Super Bowl we're talking here. This is bigger than just an NFC championship game. I think he's going to show, and I think Andy Reid and company, they're going to be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Patrick Mahomes and the Swifties are going to be happy, Ben.
yeah, a great point from Tyler too on that. It made me a little more skeptical of my pick too. No Joe Tooney. That's going to be huge for the Chiefs. Let's see if the 49ers can capitalize on that. But man, I really thought Josh was going to go the other way, but I hate to do it. But I'm going Chiefs too. I've been on the Chiefs. Yeah, they've been dogs. I mean, ever since this whole postseason. I mean, I don't believe against the Dolphins, but just the Bills dogs. Ravens dogs, and you just got to keep hitting this plus money, and you just cannot take the Chiefs. I mean, the more experienced team. Obviously, we've gone through the weapons so many times on that other side, but I think the Andy Reid and that defense figure it out. A good point from Lewis too. Yeah, that was Baltimore was pretty close and sportsmanlike conduct. It was a tough one, but listen, hey, it's Baltimore. As Lewis mentioned, they always do that in the playoffs. They always choke, so they're always going to do that, except for that one year with Flacco. But came back on track. I gotta take the Chiefs. You gotta take the Chiefs. I don't want San Fran to tie 6 either. I don't want them to join us all at 6. It was bad enough. Uh, you know, we got the Patriots there. We got the Cowboys too. The Cowboys been there, but it's bad enough with the Patriots. I don't want them to get to the 6. A little selfish reason, but I think the Chiefs are just more veteran team. I think Mahomes is just a better quarterback. And he's just, I know we discussed it last week. He's not the GOAT yet. He's got a long ways to go, very long ways, but he's in the discussion for a reason. I think he's going to improve it this time, Josh, once again. So I'm taking the Chiefs. You can't back them up. And like you said, the Swifties, they're going to be happy. Travis Kelce's going to be happy. Chiefs Nation is going to be happy again. And good point from Jeff. Yeah, it's going to be a legit home game for the Niners, but Chiefs Kingdom travels well. They travel well, and they'll be out there for sure. So give me Mahomes and the Swifties.
Oh, for sure, Ben. I mean, it's funny. I thought he was gonna go.
I thought you were going
Actually,
Niners
I don't know.
for some
I
reason.
can't. I just something about 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I think the Chiefs are a very well oiled machine. They're gonna do it again. He's gonna hoist his third trophy. And I can't watch the Niners do it. I like McCaffrey. I like a lot of their players, but I can't do it. As a Cowboys fan, it won't happen. So I like the Chiefs in this, as you mentioned. Dogs too, good money line, good favorites there. Not favorites, good betting odds there if you're a betting guy. Aside from that, though, this concludes our Super Bowl special. Check us out on TikTok at Timeout Talks. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter at Timeout Talks, as we've been flashing. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Lewis, Jeff, Nick DeVosta, Aaron, Rob, Charlie, maybe a couple others in there that I'm missing. But again,
We threw a lot of bets out there.
thank you everybody for tuning in. We got Rob coming in with the light blue for Gatorade. I wasn't able to find that on DraftKings. That's okay. It's got to be somewhere out there. Next week, we'll be recapping this Super Bowl. We'll be talking a lot about the Super Bowl. We've got a lot of NBA stuff, hockey stuff. Bruins are back tonight, and they'll be back after the All-Star break, so we'll be talking a little bit more about them next week. We'll recap everything. I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in, and as always, I'm going to turn it over to Ben.
Yeah, shout out to everyone tuning in, listening, and giving us those bets, giving us those comments. Great show as always. Like I said, bet responsibly. Don't go too crazy, but let's just have some fun Super Bowl parties. Get that spinach dip for Josh and that buff check dip out there. But yeah, no, it's just gonna be a great Super Bowl. If we mentioned a lot about the teams, but we got the two best teams out there. Gonna be a great matchup. And I'll end it with this, Josh. Go Chiefs.